Despite being somewhat outdated in this time and age, letters still hold their old appeal. For one, serial killers think they're the best way to taunt a horribly afraid public and a terribly overworked group of investigators. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 eerie letters that captured the interest of millions of people across the world. The Zodiac Killer letters. Not all mysteries remain so. Over time, a lot of them get solved, debunked, or somehow demystified. This isn't the case for the Zodiac. In the late 1960s to early 1970s, an American serial killer known as the Zodiac operated in the Northern California area. He's notorious for sending eerie cryptograms to the Bay Area press, known as the Chronicle. He used this medium to taunt the authorities and the public, who were desperate to uncover his identity and put him behind bars. After years of taking innocent lives and sending undecipherable letters, he managed to keep his identity a mystery. As far as police know, the Zodiac has killed 5 people between 1968 and 1969. Contrary to this, in one of his letters, the Zodiac claimed he had killed 37 victims. He even personally called the police 2 times to report his crime. As to the real number of people he murdered, nobody knows for sure. One of the most frustrating words in the English language is the term inconclusive. All evidence gathered by law enforcement and private investigators has turned out to be inconclusive or not enough to dig deeper on. All suspects were dismissed and nobody got charged for the killings. In 2004, the San Francisco Police Department put the case in the inactive status. This was after more than 30 years since the last known murder committed by the Zodiac Killer. The Chronicle published the Zodiac's cryptograms in hopes that readers could help them decipher the letters. Intelligent people across all 50 states, and even people outside of the US, have tried to analyse the serial killer's writing in order to piece the puzzle together and get some clues on how to take this murderer down. During this time, many people were afraid and felt threatened by the fact that a known killer is on the loose. There were so many people who were just intrigued and curious. There are a few that expressed their amazement and even admiration. The Zodiac was a real-life nail-biter show that people watched by reading the paper and tuning into the news. The stories and the mystery kept them on the edge of their seats for years. Undoubtedly, the Zodiac's satisfaction lied not mainly on committing the murders, but on taunting the press, the police, and the public through his cryptograms. In a way, it made him feel smart, powerful, and superior for having created a code that nobody else could crack. In 2018, a police department initiated an attempt to collect DNA samples of the Zodiac from the letters he had sent. However, more than 2 years after the said attempt, there were still no results filed. Decades after, and even with the use of highly advanced DNA technology, the Zodiac's mystery is still standing strong, refusing to be solved and refusing to be defeated. Jack the Ripper taunted the police. Our next letter sender goes back as far as the 1800s. For a month between the period of August and September 1888, a serial killer in London who went by the pseudonym Jack the Ripper terrorised the entire impoverished Whitechapel district located in East London. He sent waves of panic and fear by not just killing but mutilating the bodies of 5 prostitutes. According to authorities, the way he cut into the flesh of his victim proved that he knew what he was doing and that he was knowledgeable of the human body. The gruesome murders were heavily covered by the media, and this sparked the world's interest. To give you an idea on the scale of its popularity, ordinary men and women have written thousands of letters and sent them to the police offering helpful tips. Death and murder seemed to be a highly popular national pastime during that period. The name Jack the Ripper didn't come out until the last few days of September 1888. This was when a news agency received a letter. It was addressed to the Central News Office in London City. The letter started with the words, "Dear Boss." If one word could be used to describe the tone of the letter, it would be boastful. It was obvious that the sender is proud of his killings, and he expressed that he intended to get to work right away, meaning to kill again. The police initially dismissed the letter as a hoax, considering there were many people who took an interest in the mystery. People just couldn't help but want to be a part of the thrill and drama. It wasn't until September 30th, 1888, when 2 prostitutes were found dead, the authorities took a second look at the letter and concluded that the double murder was indeed Jack the Ripper's doing. The notorious letter is when the pseudonym Jack the Ripper came into the picture. The serial killer gave it to himself. After the Dear Boss letter, a taunting postcard came in. It stated some gory ways in which he'll be mutilating the bodies of his next victims, though this never happened. People clamoured for justice. They wanted to be free from the unsettling feeling knowing that a serial killer is a free man walking in the streets among them, ready to strike again. Unfortunately, regardless of how many letters were sent, real and fake, none of those were able to help solve the mystery. The grotesque mutilation of women's body is enough to scare all of London and maybe all of the world. However, what's even scarier is the fact that the thing that kept authorities from getting justice was the fact that hundreds of people needlessly sent letters in order to insinuate themselves into the situations. This compromised the investigation overall. Unfortunately, many letters got lost and destroyed during World War II. Even with the availability of modern forensics, evidence that may lead to the real identity of Jack the Ripper may have been lost forever. The Axman of New Orleans letter. In the early 20th century, an unidentified American serial killer started taking innocent lives in Louisiana. He operated under the pseudonym Axman of New Orleans. His method was to intrude a house and kill people using an axe or a straight razor. Oddly enough, the crimes weren't motivated by robbery nor personal grudge. According to the authorities, the serial killer has never taken anything from any of the victims' homes. This proves that for the Axman, the satisfaction came from the killing itself. The Axman only had one letter. The heading says the letter came from the hottest hell, dated March 13th, 1919. It started with a greeting. Esteemed mortal of New Orleans, the Axman. The tone of the letter showed a glimpse of his dominance and control over the situation. The first sentence was, "They have never caught me, and they never will." This is sadly seeming to be true. More than a decade after his last murder, the Axman of New Orleans hasn't been caught nor identified. In one of the last few sentences of the letter, he mentioned that he has a close relationship with the Angel of Death. Many people believe that the success of his war against the authorities is because of the fact that he is supposedly a friend of the devil. Also, his ability to pop in and out of people's houses was attributed to one of his statements in the letter, which says, "I am the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy." Aside from his identity, another mystery about the Axman is his motive. Many theories have evolved over time. Some people say he was motivated by racism against Italian immigrants. Other groups claimed he performed sadistic sexual acts to the women before he killed them, and killed the men who obstructed his plans. One crazy theory suggested that he liked to kill to promote jazz music. This was based on one of the letters the Axman sent, saying, "He'll spare the lives of those who play jazz in their houses." The case just keeps getting interesting, especially when you get to the part about the suspects. A crime writer named Colin Wilson believes the Axman and the last known victim are the same person. The murder took place in December 1920 in Los Angeles. This would have been a great plot twist. However, this was never proven to be true based on the evidence. So what do you make of these chilling letters? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.